Welcome to the Learning Lab. My name is Roman Garcia. Today, the subject of this volume is we're going to discuss the science behind the medicinal use of light therapy. We've discussed this before, but I'm going to go a little bit further in depth with the biology and the science behind this new use of light therapy to treat from musculoskeletal pain and inflammation, to even using it against as a anti-aging or as a anti-wrinkle treatment. But I think before anybody makes an investment on these types of technology, I think it's a good idea for that individual to understand the truth behind the science itself and the technology itself. Because what I've been seeing is that a lot of these systems out there in the public domain come with price points that are extremely high. And I think that's kind of like an injustice to the consumer, because this technology has been around for a long time. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just spilling the beans on the business itself, because I want you to understand and I want you to know how inexpensive it really is to manufacture these systems. So these price points that you see out there in the public in the hundreds of thousands, and I've even seen them in the thousands of dollars, is completely unjust for the consumer who purchases these products. So before I show you a comparison of different products, our products with something that's out there that's in the thousands of dollars, I want to show you a little bit the science and the biology behind how the light therapy actually affects the human body or living tissue. Now, what I did earlier is I did a little experiment. I went out into the sun and I did something that a lot of kids do as they're growing up. I use this, which is basically a lens. It's a magnifying lens. And I went out there and I used a napkin and I burned a hole, which, Carlos, you can see here, with the lens. I magnified the powers of the sun, and I focused the power, the energy of the sun, into a stream of energy which had a thermal property, which was high enough in temperature to burn literally a hole into the napkin. Now, the reason that I show you this is because you hear a lot out there the use of laser as a medical technique or medical procedure. Now, the problem is that the term laser and light therapy sometimes gets mixed up. They are not the same thing. Though most people, jargon that they use is that they're receiving laser therapy, which in reality, they're not receiving laser therapy. What they're receiving is light therapy. And it's one of the reasons why companies can get away with manufacturing light therapy systems, marketing them as laser systems, and gouging the consumer for thousands of dollars. Because the consumer doesn't know the difference between light therapy and laser therapy. Now, what I just showed you right now, using a lens and magnifying the power of the sun to create a beam of energy hot enough to burn a burn spot on a napkin, is what I just did is I created a laser procedure. What I did was I focused a radiating dispersed energy and focused it onto a beam onto this piece of paper. Now, let me show you in paper, in a diagram, what I actually did, and maybe you'll understand it a little bit better. The sun is the light source. It's the light source. When energy comes off the sun, the light source is scattered. the energy source is scattered. This lens represents this right here. This is a converging layer. In other words, is the lens. Now, when I put the lens between the sun and the material that I'm focusing the energy on, let's call it paper or matter. When I do that, the scattered light energy of the sun, as it hits the lens converges or streams the scattered energy into a focused beam of energy, which is what this represents. This, in effect, is what laser is. It is a source of energy being converged onto a stream of energy by interlining lenses, which converges the energy into a beam of energy, of photons, in effect of photons. When that converged energy is pointed or targeted to a matter, a solid object, the beam of energy has certain properties. It's usually thermal properties what it has, but it could have many different types of properties depending what the properties the source has. Now, when you're converging the energy from the scattered source onto the piece of matter, those properties get amplified, and that is the basic principles of lasers. Now, let me just show you how a laser is truly created. A laser energy starts from a light emitting diode. This could be many different sources or many different atoms. Depending on the atom is the type of property that the final converged stream of energy will possess. Most lasers nowadays in the medical field are used as a thermal power that the surgeon can use to cauterize wounds, to clear up spots on the skin, etc. But it all starts from a light emitting diode. Basically, a laser starts from what light therapy is. So the source is a light emitting diode, which in a little while I'm going to show you. I've shown you before, but I'm going to show you what it looks like, what a diode looks like. It starts as a light emitting diode. It's scattered. It goes through a lens. The lens converges or streams the energy into a smaller spectrum of line, which increases the property of the initial light emitting diode source, and then it gets concentrated on a piece of solid matter. That, in essence, is what a true laser is. But, Carlos, you can come back to me now. But the public has laser and light emitting light therapy confused. They are not the same thing. One has more powers. The laser has more powers than the light emitting diode. The light emitting diode is what a light therapy is. And those light emitting diodes are extremely inexpensive pieces of technology, which is why our product, which I'm going to show you in a little while, sells far below any price point of anyone else. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to do a little bit of comparison so you see the differences and the similarities between both products. One being $1,000, somebody else's product, and ours. Now, when you focus the light emitting diode onto your body, remember, the light emitting diode has laser-like properties to it because it's eventually what a laser is. It's the initial power source of what a laser eventually becomes. But it doesn't have the same amount of thermal properties as the final laser beam does. Now, when you expose the light therapy, the light emitting diode spectrum onto your skin, it does this. Now, this is just an example of a typical skin layer. You have cells. You have cells here. These are 3 cell bodies right here on the skin. And then the pinkish outline here, that represents the extracellular matrix. when light emitting diodes, when light therapy is used on the skin as an anti-aging system, what the light actually works on is it works on this whole environment right here. All a wrinkle is this extracellular matrix, which is otherwise known as collagen. As you get older, it dries, and when it dries, this pinkish area right here develops. It basically desiccates, and it develops cracks in them. It will develop cracks in this extracellular matrix. These cracks is what an individual sees when they see another individual that has wrinkles, because this extracellular matrix has desiccated and has cracked. And the crack is basically what a wrinkle is. So when you expose or when you irradiate the light emitting diode, the red or the blue, onto your skin, you're actually helping the extracellular matrix stay hydrated. And that is the key, is hydrated skin. But in order for the skin to stay hydrated, it needs to be exposed to particular stimuli, of which the light emitting diode, especially in the red color, has the ability to do. And now, the systems that are out there, I'm going to show you in a little while, they come in different modes of usage. I'm going to show you the differences between our product and the other products. Now, you may ask, what is it about red, or what is it about blue, or what is it about any spectrum that has, what properties does it have that create these beneficial effects to the elasticity of soft tissue or even hard tissue? Now, this is what I can tell you. They usually give very general explanations, as it's an anti-inflammatory, etc. The problem with those types of definitions is that it really doesn't tell you the actual mechanisms or the properties that these light emitting systems has. Now, the only thing that I can tell you that I believe is how it works is that when you expose the tissues to especially the red color, what the red spectrum does is that it cools the skin itself. It's almost as if putting cold on skin, and we all know that cold is a very powerful anti-inflammatory when you expose the tissues immediately after trauma. But the red color exists in nature as red equates to a cooler state. In our natural environment, red represents cool and blue represents hot, and I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. The interesting thing is that in general terms, in general ideas, the mimi of what red is to the general person is that anytime that we see red, we associate red with danger, with hot, etc. But the reality is the opposite. Red in nature actually denotes a cool state. The blue denotes a hotter state in nature, and I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. This is a candle. Carlos, you can turn off the light. Obviously, this is a candle and this is a fire. What we see here is something that's very hot. Obviously, if I put my finger on this fire, it's going to burn me. Now, we don't see any red here. What we see is white. White is hotter than red. If this flame were to get hotter, it would turn blue. Because of the temperature of this candle, it's white. But if we were to increase the energy onto this candle, and this candle, this flame becomes hotter, we would see the blue. We would not see red because it's too hot. So if you can actually see at the base of this candle, I don't know if you can, Carlos, if you can focus in here. If you can see at the base of this flame, you see blue. There is no red in this flame. It's white and it's blue. The bottom part is the hottest part of the flame. The tip, the apex of this candle is the least hot. At the base is where most of the temperature is radiating from, and you see a slim line of blue. There is no red here because it is too hot. Okay, you can turn on the light. So here what we see is we see an example that blue is actually hotter than red. So when you expose the skin to the red light therapy, the light emitting diodes, you're actually exposing it to a cooling stimuli, which cools the skin. Remember, inflammation in the body is the primary insult that creates most diseases and most degenerative conditions of the body. The body is always under an inflamed, irritated state. If you expose it to a cooling agent, which is what the red light spectrum is, you decrease the inflammation. And there is the actual physical properties of the red light, the light emitting diode in the red spectrum. The red spectrum is the key. Now, I'm going to show you an example here. Carlos, you can go up here. This is a mask. This is a mask. This is, by the way, this is my assistant, Ana.
Ana, hola.
Now, this right here is a mask to produce anti-aging treatments. This mask is part of a system that's about $5,000. Now, this is the interesting thing. This mask is part of a system that is $5,000. The treatments to get these types of, the cost to get these types of treatments are anywhere between $100 to $200 for a 25-minute session. Now, the interesting thing is that the same light-emitting diodes that are inside this product are the same ones that are in ours. They're the same thing. Carlos, if you can get a look here. This $5,000 system, that's the light emitting diode. This is what produces the medicinal effect. It's the same as our system. A light emitting diode is a light emitting diode. Whether it comes from a $5,000 system or a $100 system, it's the same thing. Now, the interesting thing is that if you would ask one of the representatives of these $1,000 systems or $100 systems, they would tell you that it's a medically grade light emitting source. And I would tell you that's hogwash, because light emitting diode and the energies that they produce exist in nature. You cannot make them better than one light emitting diode than another. You can change the frequency of on and off through sophisticated hardware, but that doesn't improve the effect of the treatment itself. So again, anybody that tells you that a $5,000 system is better than a $100 system, I would tell you that they're flat out, they are lying to you. Because the light emitting diode produces an energy that exists in nature, and there's no way that you can manipulate it. It exists, it is. Now, I'm going to use this mask, and I'm going to put it on my assistant, so you can see how it looks uncomfortable. It goes like this. Now imagine, you're supposed to have this on you're supposed to have this mask on. She looks like Friday the 13th, but you're supposed to, the Friday the 13th murder. Now, you're supposed to have this on for anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes. Imagine having this on your face. Now, the light is being emitted through those diodes that I showed you, and it's against the skin. Again, that's something that I'm not too comfortable with, because you are introducing an energy onto the tissues. I prefer to have some distance between the source and the piece of the body that you are irradiating onto. So I don't like this protocol. Ana, is it very comfortable? ¿Es muy cómodo?
No, me incomoda la máscara.
Imagine, do you think you can wear this for about 30 minutes? ¿Tú crees que tú puedes tener esto como tener 30 minutos?
No.
Imagine having this on your face. ¿Tú puedes?
No puedo, imposible. I don't like it.
Imagine having this on your face for 30 minutes. Our system does not encompass or does not it does not require the light emitting diode to be directly on the face. It's not a mask. Most systems that exist out there in the public domain are a mask. That's the general trend nowadays. But I will tell you that that is not necessary in order for you to get an effect onto your body. You do not need this to be on your face. Now, Ana, siéntate aquí, sit right over here. Now imagine this being on your face. 20 minutes, I can only imagine. You have to be in an air conditioning facility. Now, let's take this off. Now, yeah, when you take it off, you'll feel the difference. Imagine having that on your face. It's creating sweat. So I don't know how something on your face, while you're creating sweat, is good for the skin. Now, our system is not designed like that. Now, I use this system myself, and I use it. Our system is designed, Carlos, you can turn off the light. Again, our system is designed to be clipped. You clip it onto a surface. You don't put it directly onto your skin. You wear goggles. You can wear goggles for this. And I urge, and the system comes with goggles. So you wear just goggles or just glasses. Glasses with polarized lenses. That's all you need, because the light is not going to be directly on your face. Close your eyes. Now, again, you clip it. You sit. You close your eyes. You don't have to be in front of it for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. You use it as long as you're in the space that you're occupying. If you're there 5 minutes, you treat yourself for 5 minutes. If you're there for 10 minutes, you treat yourself for 10 minutes. You place it about 5 inches away from your skin. You can see that you get good amount of energy onto the skin. You see how Ana's skin is being illuminated from the source. You place it about 5 inches away from the skin. You can put it directly in front. You can put it to the side. It really doesn't matter. It pretty much covers the whole face. And again, red is what I recommend, because red cools the tissue. And that's the effect of the red light. Okay. Now, again, our system, the means of using it is far superior than anything that's out there in the market. The price point is far superior to anything that's out there in the market. We want you to understand what light emitting diodes, light therapy is all about, and how its components are extremely inexpensive. Light emitting diodes have been around for a very long time, and the reason that they're cheap is that they were developed, they were discovered, developed by the Russians, and the Russians had no use for them. So there is no proprietary licensing agreement on to who can get and develop these systems. They're very easy to find in the public domain, just like we did, and put together a system. And one $5,000 light emitting diode is just as effective as one that costs 5 cents. And that's pretty much what they cost. They're extremely inexpensive. And our system is far superior because of its practicality. So if anybody is interested in knowing more about these systems, we always have our phone numbers there. You can contact us, you can email us, and we'll explain further on the biology and the science behind light emitting diode and what effects, what benefits you can have in your home by purchasing our system. Again, anybody that watches this video, I want to thank you. Until next time.